Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of my weekly trade recap. So this week actually ended up being a pretty good week, a very busy week actually. There was quite a few trades, but the week ended up being break even, which is awesome. So yeah, just a testament to my rules. Happy with a break even week, preserving capital. It's awesome. You can't really complain with that when you're a trader. In my eyes, break even is still a winning week. So yeah, with that being said, this was for the week beginning the 17th of November, 2025. So yeah, we'll just kick things straight away with the first trade. So this is on NQ, NAS 100. Just starting off here on the hourly time frame. We can clearly see we've kind of been bearish these past few days and weeks. Coming into the session, we can see we've got EMAs kind of sloping downwards. We're underneath the 50 on the hourly, and we also get these strong bearish candles downwards. So I'm kind of thinking, these are the lows that we're kind of gonna go for down here, whether it be in this session or the following session. I'm kind of bearish on this day. So when we drop down to the 15 minute, market kind of just chopped around for a while. I was looking for shorts around this time here after this candle's been put in, but then we had this candle here, and obviously it came back up, and then price straight away broke back down, and then as soon as this candle here has been put in, we broke down again, and also price liquidated these highs here, tapped into these 10 and 20 EMAs, and then straight away downwards. So yeah, from this candle here, I was kind of looking for shorts lower, and so if we continue, I think price did chop around here for a while. There was a inverse fair value gap right here, but I just didn't like the way there was no impulsiveness on the 1 minute. It was kind of just slow chop downwards, so I didn't end up taking that trade there. And then if we play, we get this here. Now this is a quick break even, from we've got this push up here into the EMAs, everything's still sloping downwards, and we get these kind of impulsive move down here. So yeah, that's led me to taking a short, and then as soon as this low gets broken, move to BE, and yeah, this is a nice quick break even. Very happy with this. Not too much to discuss there. We'll move on to the next trade. Okay, so moving on to trade number 2. I took this on YM, so this is the US 30. This was on the Tuesday. Just starting off again on the higher time frames. Pretty clearly we can see we are very bearish. We swept this liquidity up here and then just straight move down. Usually when this kind of move happens, we've swept liquidity up here and we just get a strong move down like this. Usually this kind of means that we're probably gonna head for lower targets. Maybe lows down here. These lows, like you can see here, this has been taken. So yeah, this is kind of just meaning that we're bearish on the day. I mean, you can see the EMA sloping heavily downwards here on the hourly. Yeah, just kind of looking for shorts for today. If we move down to the 15 minute, I believe this is market open here. Yep, so we get market open here, but then as soon as, which is obviously bullish, we kind of move back. I did want a retracement into the EMAs. Now we get a massive sweep of these highs here and massive, strength downwards. So I actually entered this trade as this candle finished forming, because I was waiting for this 15-minute candle to close. After this candle has formed, the likelihood is this low here is going to be taken, and so yeah, that would basically mean a clean break even. So if we move down, this was the low that we were targeting. It's kind of like equal lows as well, and then we've got a nice fair value gap right there, and we get a nice move down with strong displacement as well, which gave me more conviction in this trade here. We play the trade out. we moved to break even pretty quickly, just here. And then from this point onwards, we did actually get tapped out for a break even. So I think if we play the trade onwards, yeah, if we play a trade onwards, it just chops around, and I think it actually ends up going higher. So that was the second trade for the week. Very nice break even, nice clean move downwards. Can't go wrong with this kind of setup. So moving on to the third trade of the week. So this is also Tuesday, just minutes after the prior US 30 trade. So I think it was about 20 minutes after. So yeah, on NQ again, we can clearly see that we're bearish here. We've got strong momentum downwards. All my EMAs are sloping downwards. We've had a pullback into the EMAs. Candle highs have all been liquidated, and then a massive strong move downwards after that. Again, everything is pointing towards the fact that price does want to go a little bit lower. Again, not predicting how low it is going to go. I'm not actually 100% sure. But given this candle here, I'm pretty sure that we're going to make at least a little move down. So moving on to the 15 minute. Again, after market open, you can see we've swept all these highs, made a massive push lower with good volume, good momentum. After this candle's been put in here, I'm pretty confident that we're probably going to get a little bit more of a move downwards. Now, once dropping down to the 1 minute, if I play this out, we get a nice move here, and we can see that we've inversed this this massive gap right here. So at this point, feeling pretty confident with the trade. If we play it out, we get this big move down here, and then we get this candle here. If I just replay that, now this ended up being my loss for the week. So this was the only loss that I took for the week. There is an argument for when this low had been broken here, I could have moved to break even. Like I said, my usual rules are me moving to break even when this low has been taken. Given the fact that we broke this low with a lot of conviction, I did just think this was going to come down, and I didn't hesitate. I thought the likelihood is we're probably going to take this low, but on this occasion I was incorrect, and I think this ends up taking us out. So that was a -1. Again, very nice setup. We had this move up here, massive move down, nice displacement on this inverse fair value gap. I think this overall was a very good setup, followed all my rules. Again, very happy with it. Losses are a part of this game. If you're not taking any losses, then I don't think you're trading correctly. So just got to take them on the chin, take them as a learning curve, nothing wrong with them, and move on to the next trade. Okay, so moving on to trade number 4. This was taken on gold on Wednesday, so this was the middle of the week. This was also a break-even trade before we get into it. But as you can see, daily time frame on gold, we've been bullish for a while. We've obviously had this chop here, but still, given there was some strength on the lower time frames, if we move down to the 1 hour, given there was some strength on the lower time frames, I was kind of happy to look for longs here. We've had these prices obviously was below the EMAs here. Now price has climbed above and is now making nice strong pushes above the EMAs. It comes back, small candles, we're chasing to them, big push above, small chop, and again another big push here after touching the EMAs. So for me, this looks pretty good for a long setup. If we move down to the lower time frames, again 15 minute here, market opens. I trade New York session. Market opens and we get this massive move here above these highs. Also as well, I think on silver we had a similar we did have a similar push on silver. Not taking the highs, but we did have a similar push, which is useful to know. These two pairs are pretty correlated, so you can use that to your advantage when trading them. After this big impulsive candle here, all the EMAs are sloping upwards. We played around at the 10 and 20, pushed above. Again, in my previous video, I kind of said how I look for, trying to get involved in these areas right here. This is kind of what I see this as. If I can try and find an entry in here, I'm kind of looking to get that push after it. So if we drop down to the 1 minute again, with that, there's that push. Now here, you can see, again, inverse fair value gap right here. We pushed above. come down nicely into the EMAs. It's been bought, price has been bought up at the EMAs, and then we get this nice candle that's kind of pushed higher. We are in a little bit of drawdown here at this point in time, but if we play price onwards on this candle right here, nice break even, very clean push above the highs, break even at this point, and then yeah, price does end up taking us out. Can't remember if actually, yeah. So this is just an example of, the break even saving us from a -1, which in my system is heavily based on a lot of break evens. I think my break even rate is around 50 to 55% of my trades, which is not a bad thing, because you're protecting your capital, and the winners that I do get are 1 to 3s. So yeah, my system actually is pretty profitable, even though there are a lot of break evens. And I think it's the way you look at break evens. I look at them as a very positive thing. I'm actually very happy when I take a break even, because it's capital preservation. Keeping your capital to basically stay in the markets another day longer to try and get those winners. So yeah, very happy with the setup here on gold. Nice break even, easy one to go over. Okay, moving on to trade number 5. This was on Thursday, so this was US 30 YM. Looking at the higher time frames, I mentioned before that we had this bearish push here. At some point, these pushes do get pretty exhausted, and you can kind of see the way that prices come down here, beginning to chop, and we did actually liquidate these lows just down here, and then prices moved up. Now, coming into the session, I was very wary, just because we did have this strong momentum downwards. If we look on the 4 hour, we're still actually underneath the 50 on the 4 hour, and we're kind of coming into these big gaps here. So I was wary of that, but given we had this nice push here on the 1 hour, above the 50, kind of played around, hit the 10 and 20, and then pushed above. I was okay to look for longs, but I was also very hesitant. I wanted to make sure the setup was very good before I took it. So moving to the 15-minute, we had these pushes. We had this play around here, and then we had this push above price. Now right here, I was kind of waiting here, because we had this play around here and this push above. I was kind of waiting for price to essentially pull back into the EMAs or liquidate some kind of 15-minute low, which it did here, which is very nice. So given that price had liquidated these lows, this means there's some sort of reaccumulation on a lower time frame, and how we've pushed above here with very good momentum. I was happy to look for longs. So given we had that there, coming into here, we play this. We had nice pushes lower with price. We pushed lower into the EMAs. Again, all the EMAs are pretty far apart from each other, sloping up. We had this big move here straight through this fair value gap. Lovely displacement higher, a lot of momentum. Likelihood is, for me, we're going to shoot for these highs here. Again, my break even point. If we play price out, beautiful, we get break even, and then price does come and take us out. So, and again, -1 right here. So this is a beautiful trade. Very happy with it. Like I said before, was wary that we might get pushes lower, which I think in the end we did. Yeah, price continues going lower, but I just did want to take advantage of the long setup, because there was a possibility that we could have kept on going here, but obviously in this occasion we did just take break even. So again, beautiful trade, very nice setup, nice conditions for the setup. Very happy with this one. Okay, moving on to trade number 6. So like I said before, this is quite a busy week for me. Usually my system tends to take, maybe on average 3 to 4 setups per week. But to be fair, more on the 3 side per week. But yeah, this was a very busy week, but they were all pretty much break even except for the last trade, which I'll get onto in a moment. But yeah, this was trade number 6 on NQ. So this is the same day as that US 30 trade. And the US 30 trade that I took would have been up here on NQ, but it was just a completely different. I did not want to look for longs up here on NQ, just because we're still in this range here, from this high to this low, and we're in like a pretty discounted premium for this range. Like this is where if we were going to sell off, we'd either take this high and come down, or we'd start selling off here. So I just didn't want to look for any longs up there. And yeah, we did get that massive sell-off. We broke down here. This was massive move downwards with a lot of volume. So I was pretty confident that given we had this move, that we were most likely gonna move a little bit lower. So again, dropping down to the 15-minute, had this huge move here. I would like to get involved in these areas only if we get some sort of like liquidation of a high, like either this high or something up here. But on this occasion, we actually pulled back into the EMAs, and so I was happy to scale down lower and look for shorts. And again, we pull back into the EMAs and we get these strong pushes downwards. This candle here, straight away, as soon as this candle here has been put in, I'm looking lower because I'm thinking we're going to take these lows here and possibly continue forward. This was the session, New York PM session. So I was aware that this is 7 o'clock my time. I'm in the UK, so this usually the markets start quietening down around 8 p.m. ish. So I was kind of wary of that, watching for lower volume. But we did have a good move here. We had this fair value gap here that was created. So price has moved down, retraced back into the falling EMAs. We can see we're just wicking the fair value gap here, and then finally we do get this big candle here that kind of pushes lower. And after this point, I was pretty confident that this low was going to get taken. Again, my break-even point, and if we play price out, it does get taken. I think unfortunately the trade did carry on lower from memory, or maybe it doesn't. Again, you can see this protected me from another -1. I do like my quick break-evens, because if price is going to go, like really go for it, once these sort of positions are taken, it should just fall very momentous downwards. We should get a strong push down. And obviously in this case we didn't, and you can see price kind of comes back and plays around. So yeah, that was I think my 5th break-even for the week. So right now we're on -1 and 5 break-evens. So we're -1R on the week, still a very positive week. Even if it did end up on -1R, you do have those weeks, and it's completely normal. But yeah, moving on to the last and final trade. So for the final trade, this is actually on Euro futures. So I do tend to stick to just NQ, ES, YM, gold and silver. Occasionally I will look at Euro futures, just because if there's a nice setup, I will take it. The only unfortunate thing is where I'm at with my account at the moment, the scaling rule doesn't permit me to risk as much as I would like. Hence why it was a break even. Usually it should be, because this is a 1 to 3 that I made. Given the -1 loss, we should have ended the week on +2. But given the less risk on this particular trade, it ended up just being break even, so it covered the loss, which is still I'm completely okay with. So yeah, if we begin off with just looking at the analysis, we've already had this push downwards. I think overall we're kind of trending downwards, and so longer time, like this low here, most likely will get taken. But yeah, on the 1 hour, we've had a push up into the 50. We've had a lot of sellers coming in here, and we've had this rejection downwards, come back up to the 10 and 20, and again pushed lower. So if we go down to the 15-minute, we have market open, and then we get a nice bearish push lower. So yeah, after this candle has been put in here, taken out this low here, I'm kind of looking for sales, because I'm thinking that this low is most likely going to be targeted, and hence that is what happened. But yeah, we've got EMAs all sloping downwards, nice distance apart from all of them, showing that there is bearish momentum in this particular market at this current time. So moving down to the 1 minute, we had this push lower. If we just replay that back, we just had this push lower. We've just taken this low, but we have had this push into the EMAs, and it's met with strong bearish resistance. As soon as we did close the fair value gap on this candle here, But obviously we had this wick, and I didn't really like that. So I just wanted to see what price would do next, because equally it could have come up and taken these highs here. But as we can see, if we play price now, we do get this big push lower, and that is my break-even point. So right here I was break-even. If we play the price out, we get a lovely 1 to 3 here. I think price actually did end up going, oh no, it did go lower, yeah. But that was kind of the move for the day on the Euro futures. So yeah, this was a nice 1 to 3. Again, just because there was reduced risk on this trade, ended up just being break even for the week. So yeah, overall very positive week. Cannot complain with break even, especially given the amount of trades I took for the week. I think I had 7 trades, which again is quite a lot for me, but if the setup presents itself, I will end up taking it. And given I took 7 trades and coming out break even, I am exposing myself to a lot of risk taking that many trades. So given the fact that I come out unscathed, my account was break even for the week, is amazing. And yeah, overall very happy with my performance and the overall trades for the week. So yeah, that was episode 2 of my weekly trade recap. I will have another episode coming out soon for the following week. But yeah, if you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and yeah, catch you guys in the next one.